James Ainsworth. Everybody calls me Ainsworth. I've been here for 14 years about, and there's not 50 people that know my name. Half of y'all probably think I'm Ainsworth. So I'm going, yeah, but the Ainsworth are great people. So I'm glad it wasn't some horse thief that called me. And I was going to do my best not to have anything negative, but Miss Casper just told some of the biggest mess I've ever heard in my life. Anyway, when you let a felon chief of police go, dismiss his case, and then he turns around and sues me for $42 million, and then we go to court, me and the county and the city and everybody, we go to court and beat his brains out. But even though we beat him, it still costs you people around $500,000 worth of tax money. Okay? That's what happens. And the way she got rid of her docket is like one of the law enforcement guys got somebody shot at him. They admitted they were trying to scare him off. He arrested him, took the gun. She dismissed the case. And the law enforcement officer didn't know it until 2 weeks later when the guy came to get his gun back. Little things like that. That's the way you get rid of a document. Cervantes and I tried every case. First degrees, all of it. We didn't give Pennington 20 years. He probably got 99. The trouble is, she had a big deal in the paper how she got 20 years. Well, 20 years, he hadn't got to serve 20 years. He's got to serve about a third before he's eligible for parole. Then he gets moved over to some plush prison, like he's some kind of national hero. But that wasn't what I came here to say. That's just sort of a little answer to this. Anyway, I'm from Angelina County originally. 14 years ago, I drove through this town for the first time ever. We played y'all in football. I went to Diboll High School. And it was beautiful. I stopped at Barney. I bought a ranch. I had $1.5 million invested before I figured out what this place was like. Okay? And it's still the most beautiful place on earth, and it's got some of the most beautiful people. But it's not run by the most beautiful people. How many of y'all been to Lufkin lately? Nobody goes to Lufkin? Mm-hmm. You think you've gone to the Woodlands, except it's newer. You have everything there you have in Houston or the Woodlands. 5 o'clock traffic in Lufkin is almost like 5 o'clock traffic in Houston. And it wasn't always like that. 2 of my friends took over as a county judge and district attorney in 1982. And it was run, at that time, it was run by a bunch of corrupt good old boys, just like I feel like Crockett is today. And Crockett's probably been run like that for the last 50, 100 years. But in 1982, Claude Welch and Gerald Goodwin took over as DA and county judge. Claude stayed 4 years, Gerald Goodwin stayed 25 years, and never had an opponent. That's how well he was loved. They put the crooked politicians in jail, they put the crooked administrators in jail, and they put the crooks in jail. And that's, and you can see what Lufkin looks like now, because it was just as destitute and corrupt as I feel like Houston County, Trinity County is now. It just seems to be that way, okay? I may be reading it wrong, but I've had 40 plus years experience in the law. The last 2 years, I've done 5,200 cases. I have brought over $1 million for my clients into this county. And that's, I would say that's probably more than a lot of the businesses bring in, right? And so I know my law. And when David and I were in the office, we didn't have to call the Attorney General to try our cases for us. We tried them. No, not one time did somebody else try, except when David had to recuse himself because the guy had formerly been his client. That's all. And I feel like the people at the top are taking the value, and the people at the bottom are getting the crumbs. You know, they're getting the mine, everybody else is getting the shaft. Or getting a welfare check, something like that. But Houston County is a beautiful place. It is an ideal place for small manufacturers. I own a number of manufacturing companies. At one time I had companies from Arizona to South Carolina. They look for places with lakes, recreation, country boys, things like that. Good recreation. So that way they can put a business, they've got a workforce, and they don't have to worry about them bringing the union in or something and wiping out their company. Many of the manufacturers look for that. And Crockett is just an ideal place. It has everything, to me, except good government. But how many people around here are making $15, $20 an hour? Not that many. And the manufacturing companies will bring that kind of stuff. They'll bring that kind of money in here. And you have a industrial park over here that the only person that ever made anything off of, I think, was Lee Hosey when he put the concrete down. There's never been anybody in there. So what happened with that, right? They just sort of get started and fall on their face. But when you have a corrupt police chief, which we had, if you have a corrupt district attorney, or if you have a corrupt county attorney, people are not going to put their businesses here. They're not going to bet their money if they're not going to get a fair shake. And here's Houston County lies, broke and destitute. And I don't know where y'all can disagree with that. Broke and destitute. And to the voters straight it out by getting officials that will stand up for right instead of corruption, it's going to be like that. As assistant district attorney, I stood up for right. That's the reason Jimmy Fisher went to jail. In his district attorney, I stand up as right. And if you don't think I stood up for right, ask Jimmy. He didn't like it much.
Did we answer our two questions?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, that question that you asked.
Go ahead and answer the two questions.
Answer the two questions. Oh, man, I've been a Christian. When I lived in Houston, I went to church 5 nights a week, my daughter and I. I am definitely against any kind of abortion. And I can't say what I think about gay marriage because you shouldn't say it in church. Okay? I say the same thing, it's an abomination. I say the same thing the Bible says.
Amen.
Anything else?
Thank you. I think the next one is reversed here. I believe she said that Ms. Bridget Lamb, our Houston County Clerk, is going to be talking about the voter poll locations rather than what's here. Is that correct? And you're going to have Ms. Milton's going to take the voter registration. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you again. So open your minds again, your ears to hear, and let us know. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here this afternoon. As y'all know, I am Bridget Lamb, the county clerk. But I'm going to talk about early voting and application by mail, through mail voting. Early voting began on October 22nd through November the 2nd. And anybody you have to have 3 reasons to vote by mail. You have to be 65 years or older, disabled, expected absent from the county. If you say you're going to be absent for the county, we need an out-of-county address so we can mail the ballot to out-of-county. The first day I can receive application for a ballot by mail is September the 7th. I brought some applications, so if anyone needs some, I can give them to you tonight, or you can call the office or stop by and we can give you some. The last day to receive the application is October 30th. They have to be in my office by the 30th, not postmarked, in my office. You can hand deliver the application prior to early voting. But once early voting begins, they have to be mailed. And if you know anybody in the military, they can also get a ballot. They can go to their base and pick up an application. They can fax it or mail it, and we'll make sure they get a ballot. And that's all I have.
Thank you.